I am 32 years old, and in this video, I'm going to break down my net worth. I just turned 32 the other day. My birthday is July 11th. I am filming this on July 16th, and I'm going to give you my net worth as of today. Now, I actually share my net worth on a monthly basis, so if you watch my monthly finance update videos, I break it down every single month. I've done that for years, so if you're ever curious where I'm at, you can go look at 2020 and see what my net worth was then compared to now, so on and so forth. Obviously, our net worths fluctuate basically on a day-to-day basis, and my net worth is typically higher on the last day of a month or at the beginning of a new month because I have more money in my checking account. That's like when I get paid, I have that money ready to go to put toward the house. So you'll see that when I filmed my June finance update video, my net worth is higher than what it is currently. So as of today, July 16th, 2025, at the age of 32 years and 5 days old, my net worth is $126,067. I am going to give a breakdown of everything that's included in that number, but there's a couple of things that I want to call out. The first thing is that I do not have any debts. I do not have any liabilities. I do use my credit cards on a regular basis, just for about every single purchase, but I pay off my credit cards every month. I don't ever pay interest, so on and so forth. I used to have quite a bit of debt. I know a lot of people watching this are familiar with my story, but if you are not, I had over $82,000 of debt back in June of 2018. So what, 7 years ago or so? It took me about 5 years to pay off all of that debt. And so I plan on keeping it that way. I don't ever want debt again, aside from like a mortgage, but I don't have a mortgage, don't have a car loan, no credit card debt. Yeah. The other thing is that I do not count the value of my car in my net worth. That is just personal preference. Some people freak out about this and are like, that's the wrong number. I do it. Like, I don't know why people get so upset about it, but I personally do not want to count the value of my car in my net worth. I just like to count my liquid assets, basically. If you want to count the value of your car in your net worth, you can absolutely do so. And if you're curious, I drive a 2015 Toyota Camry, and it's in great condition. I think at this point I have about 82,000 miles on it, so not too much. And I don't know what it's worth, maybe 10, 12K, but I don't even think about it. Also, if you're curious at all about my journey, like how much I've been investing, at what point I reached this, what I'm invested in, I'll actually break down what I'm invested in this video, but I have a number of videos that kind of break down my whole strategy, kind of how I've handled my finances over the years and the milestones that I reached over the last few years. So those videos will be linked down below in my description box and will offer way more detail. But for this video, I'm going to just kind of stick to the numbers, and this is what's in each of my accounts making up my net worth. First thing would be the smallest, and that would be my checking accounts. I have 470 between the two that I have. Well, I have more than two, but I have personal checking accounts. A couple of them I've opened for bonuses, and I have money being deposited into them on my paydays, but I transfer it right away to Bank of America, my main checking account, and then I have my business checking account with Novo. And yeah, as I said, $470. I intentionally keep my checking account balances pretty low because I really think my money can go further elsewhere. I prefer for my money to either be in my high yield savings account or to be invested, or I'm just using it so frequently that it just naturally stays low. As I kind of mentioned earlier, depending on the time of the month, these balances are much higher. So I'll get paid out from YouTube, and then my business checking account is much higher, but then I have payroll, so that goes through, and I have to invest into my 401k. So yeah, it just varies throughout the month. But as of today, $470 between the two. Next up would be my brokerage account. So there I have $11,472. This is with Vanguard, and the bulk of my money, I would say 80% of this amount, is invested in VTI. The other 20% is VGT. As of right now, I am not actively investing into my brokerage account. So far this year, I've invested $0 there. Last year, I did a little bit, and I absolutely would, depending on my income. So if I were to see an increase in my income and I were able to max out my Roth IRA, maybe even max out my solo 401k, I would move on to the brokerage. So yeah, lately, it's really just been growing because of growth in the market as well as dividends, but I have not been adding to it lately. Next up would be my savings, and this is all in my high yield savings account with Marcus by Goldman Sachs. The total balance there is $22,400. $75. And this is split up between 8 different sinking funds. It's just 8 different savings accounts that I have titled for specific savings purposes. So I have like my emergency fund, travel, car insurance, car maintenance, so on and so forth. Again, I break these down in my monthly updates. Most of that $22,475 is in my emergency fund. That is like over $14,000. And then the rest is split between my 7 other sinking funds. When it comes to my savings, I am adding to these accounts, not all of them, but a few of them I'm adding to on a monthly basis. But because they're sinking funds and the savings are for specific purposes, I also pull from these fairly frequently. So if I get some car maintenance, then I'm going to pull from that account to replenish what I spent. Or if I book some travel, I will probably pull from travel to replenish what I spent. So I don't have like an exact figure of how much I'm saving versus pulling out on a month-to-month basis. I just keep track of the end balance at the end of each month. Next up would be my solo 401k. There I have $45,445. This started out at my last employer. It was just, a regular 401k. And then I opened up my own solo 401k, both of which were with Guideline. So I had Guideline from my previous employer, and I still am with Guideline. And Guideline offers Vanguard funds. So here I'm invested in VIGAX as well as VFIAX. It's a 50-50 split. And at this point, I contribute $225 per month to my 401k. This is something that I would love to be able to increase. That's coming from me as the employee, but also me as the business, which is pretty cool. So I get to match myself. So I'm slowly adding to that, and I feel like every little bit helps. I have never maxed out my 401k, and it's always been a goal of mine ever since I've had it. I've only had my 401k since early 2022. So I would say this isn't too bad. Like the growth in there, at my last employer, I had a 6% match, which is pretty solid, and the growth in there is pretty incredible. I was also contributing a decent chunk of my paychecks while I was employed, and yeah, I just wanted to continue that, and I'm glad I've been able to, despite it being slow. But still, one day I would love to max out my 401k. Like that would be so cool. It's a lot of money, And then the final number that makes up my net worth would be my Roth IRA. That is at $46,205. And I've been maxing out my Roth IRA every year since, I believe, 2022. I had opened a Roth IRA and funded it at a fairly young age, but where I was invested didn't really result in anything. And then finally, I switched over to Vanguard back in 2020. I talk about this in one of my investing videos. It'll be linked down below. So when it comes to my Roth IRA, I really didn't see much growth in it until like 2020, 2021, 2022 even, because that's when I actually maxed it out. My whole Roth IRA is invested in VTSAX, and as I contribute to it, that's just what I still continue to invest in. Top priority for me is maxing this out every single year. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that as quickly as I have been able to in the past, but this year I'm still on track to max it out. So far this year, I've contributed $4,000, so I still have $3,000 remaining for 2025. So yeah, for me, this is a retirement account that is very important to max out every year, and I will do whatever it takes to make that happen. It's really cool to see how much my Roth IRA has grown just over the last few years. And, I'm really excited for that figure alone to get over 6 figures. But yeah, altogether, that's everything. So $126,067. I also wanted to share my net worth over the years. So at the age of 31, in July of 2024, my net worth was about $115,000. So, it's grown by what? 12,000 since then, 11,000. A year before that, so in July of 2023, at the age of 30, if we round up my net worth, it was about $66,000. And 2023 is when I made the most money. So that makes sense. Like you can see a big jump compared to, 2023 to 2024 was a huge jump compared to 2024 to 2025. A year before that, so July 2022, or the age of 29, my net worth was about $14,500. A year before that, at the age of 28, July 2021, I had a negative net worth, negative $10,848. So basically negative 11K. And I didn't really start tracking my net worth until 2021. So I started in January 2021, and I wish I had data from before. And this is why I love to track. I track my net worth on a monthly basis. Some people prefer every 6 months or every year. I do recommend at least checking in every year, because I promise you will want this data. Like if you care about your finances at all and you are satisfied by progress or visuals, anything like that, seeing these numbers is so cool. So just 4 years ago, I had a negative net worth, and now I'm over the 6-figure mark, and that's pretty incredible to me. So I love having all of this data. I'm not really huge on comparing myself to others, and it's not something that I recommend just because we all have different lives, definitely different financial lives and different experiences. But I did look up the median net worth of a 32-year-old. According to Kiplinger, the average net worth of those younger than 35 is $183,500. That's as of April 2025. However, the median net worth, which is always a more reflective number of the true reality, is about $39,000. I saw similar figures on other resources like NerdWallet, for example. So yeah, median net worth about $39,000. Obviously, I'm above that, but it's really just irrelevant. Like for me, I'm just going to continue working on increasing my income, continue to work on increasing my savings, my investments, trying to keep my, I've always keep my spending in check, but even if I can reduce it, just really, I've gotten to a point where I know what I like to spend my money on, and I have these really strong financial habits, and that's kind of key to all of this. So, my net worth isn't anything crazy, and I know that there are plenty of people who are way beyond where I'm at, and that's okay. Like, this is where I'm at. I had a lot of debt. I've lived on my own for quite some time. I spend quite a bit on different things in my life because I choose to, and I still travel. I still buy clothes, and just still enjoying life while I am living, but being responsible. So in saying all that, if you are watching this video and you are older than me or the same age as me and your net worth is lower, please do not compare your situation to my situation. And you may be watching this and you're the same age as me or younger than me and have a much higher net worth, and maybe that makes you feel better. Whatever the case may be, this is not for comparison. I just wanted to literally share my net worth at the age of 32 because y'all know I'm very transparent on the internet. But let me know if y'all have any questions, and if you are comfortable with it, if you want to comment down below your age and your net worth, I would love to see it. I think it's so interesting to see the different ranges across different age groups, and thank you for sharing in advance. But otherwise, thank y'all so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.